Hello and welcome to ARK Survival Evolved. We're on the Extinction map, and today I'm down in the Underforest, or I think this is the Crater Forest, depending on where you happen to be in this underground cavern. And the plan is to try and tame one of these Gachas. There's quite a few of them over there that I've found, all various levels, but there's a higher level one behind me. But before we get started, if at any time you like the video, then do remember to click the like button, as it will help me out a great deal. Comments and suggestions are always appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, then click the subscribe button and then the little bell to receive notifications when new content comes out. But anyway, for this video, as I say, I want to tame a Gacha. I found out some interesting things about it already just while I was building this trap. I mean, the reason I built one is I suspect it's a knockout tame. I mean, I've been up close to them and they seem quite passive and didn't give me any problems. Well, is that an Oviraptor or a raptor? What are you? Oh, you're an Oviraptor. Yeah, I mean, I was out here building this trap because as far as I could tell, while I've been up and close to these Gachas, they haven't given me any problems, so they seem quite placid. So I mean, I haven't seen any select notifications come up to say that it's, you know, it's asking for a particular food to go in the hotbar, for instance. So I'm assuming it's a herbivore. So I brought out some vegetables and I've got some measure berries as well. The interesting thing I found is, I think that's just about to expire there. You've got these like little gems. They drop these little crystals here. They expire after a period of time, and oddly enough, they're not hostile if you pick them up. I think it was the the roll rat that was in Aberration. That used to drop crystals. Yeah, that used to drop crystals, and it was quite aggressive if you picked any of them up. I'm just watching this thing because I mean, I've no idea what to feed it. I'm not quite sure what it's actually hitting. It was hitting the stone, I think. Let's see which one this one is. If it's the it's a 168. So I've no idea what to tame it with or what you'll need to feed it. But what I'm going to do is, I mean, it seems quite slow. So I'm going to take a bit of a risk here that I'm just going to go up against it myself. I'm going to leave Abby here out of the way. It's taken me that long to find a reasonable level Argentavis. I don't want to be losing this one so early into the game. So I'm just going to pop her down there. She's been really helpful because I was out and about gathering stone, putting that into the city terminal, and then transporting it across that way to near where the base was, so I could rebuild the existing base and put it underneath the ramp because of those meteor showers that I was running into. So I needed quite a lot of stone, and I forgot the Argentavis. It's got a weight reduction for stone as well. So I've been pumping our weight levels up so I could get more stone. Now let's just see what this Gacha does. So I've got some trank darts. I've also got some trank arrows with a crossbow just to be on the safe side. But let me just see what. Ah, now that's interesting. Okay, now that is interesting. It's not even coming after me. I'm going to have to be really careful because there's a Therizino there. Of course, I said it's not coming after me, and sure enough it is. Yep, it's coming after me. Wow, strength! I was a bit skeptical about this. I wasn't sure how fast it would be, but it's that's part of the reason I built the trap. I thought it would be quite slow, But it's yeah, it is quite fast actually. So I think what I'll just make my life a bit easier and just chase it into the trap if I can. I'm making a big assumption here that it's a knockout tame, because so far, as I say, it didn't show any interest in like any berries or anything I had in my taming bar. Whoa, Struth! It can attack stone, I think. Oh wow, that's gonna be interesting then. Wow, that was quite a lot of damage it did on the stone. Now that's going to be interesting if it completely trashes the place. It seems to have a massive AoE attack. So it'll be interesting to see how much torpor it's got as well. I'm not liking this at all. It's funny, it won't... Usually they sort of like the aggro onto you, and then you only aggro onto the building if they can't attack you, but... Ah, it's interesting that. I mean, for all I know, it's... I might be wasting my time here, but we'll just have to find out. Actually, I should have really brought a spyglass with me. I mean, it's a big creature. So I just hope I've got enough darts. I mean, I don't know how much like hit points it's got. It doesn't seem to be getting bloodied yet. I don't think it makes much difference if I shoot it in the face or in the side, like. Yeah, I mean, it's not showing signs of like running or anything, so it's not reaching like a torpor limit yet. Wow, down to 27 darts already. Aha! Ah ha ha ha! Ah, now! Now! Now that is interesting. I can't access its inventory. So this is not a knockout tame. Now that is interesting. It's not a knockout tame at all. Okay. Now, yeah, that puts a bit of a spanner in the works, because when I was trying to tame it, it was well, when I say I was trying to tame it, I was going around some of them with sort of like vegetables in the hotbar and what have you, but it wasn't interested at all. Well, I had berries at the time, and when the hotbar was empty, it wasn't saying like put something in your hotbar. So it might be a case of unless you've got the right item in your hotbar, it doesn't do anything. Right, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take that out. At least it's got a way out anyway. I'll just leave it to get back up, and then I'll try one of the other ones, because it might be a case of maybe I need some ghillie armor or something. Because there's quite a few of them over there above that cliff. Oh, well, that's interesting. Because passive tames are obviously easier, but $64 million question is, what does it want? I mean, usually they want things like, you know, there might be a case of might want meat, it might want berries, vegetables. I know the dung beetles wanted poop. I'm just curious, because these are obviously a new Dino, so I've no idea what this thing wants. Let's try some measure berries. Nope, It's not interested in that. I mean, I'm not seeing any options. Yeah, definitely placid. Try some vegetables. See if it's interested in vegetables. I mean, the thing is, it's I'm wondering if it likes stone. I mean, it seems odd, but it's just because of the crystals, you know, the way it's. There's just something about the body that gives you the impression it likes stone. What about? Oh, probably an off chance, but what about that? At this stage, I'm open to trying anything. And it's sitting down. Nope, so it's not like a dung beetle, for instance, that needs that. This is very strange, this. What about... Oh, flint. What about flint? Okay, so I can't... I wonder why I can't put flint in my hotbar. Okay, so it can't be anything like that. What about crystals then? Because these crystals, they're interesting. The things that they drop. If you use one, it actually gives you like random resources. So that's interesting. So do you like these? They drop them, so it doesn't want any. Ah, this is very odd then. What about meat? Can I give you meat? So I mean, the one thing I mean, it's definitely not a knockout tamer. It didn't give me any option at all to do anything. Okay. Oh, that's very odd then. What about? I mean, at this stage I'm just going to try anything and everything. I mean, can I put wood in? No, I can't put wood in. I can't give you thatch. Do you want spoiled meat? Can't think why, but some creatures want spoiled meat. I mean, you can try sneaking up on them, but... I mean, the Mesopithecus has always been a pain I've found, because it's... The taming bar's always... The taming, like, the option to feed them comes up... It's such a weird angle that I've got to, like, look down to see if I can see the option. No, you're not interested in that either. So I've tried meat. I've tried spoiled meat. I've tried berries and vegetables. I mean, can't put crystal in. Well, let's say crystal. I've tried these, its own crystals. I suppose it comes down to what might be in the hotbar. Well, I think I'm just going to have to go through a process of trial and experimentation, really, to try and find something that it might be interesting. I was beginning to suspect there might be something like stone, but I wonder if there's any. I think I'll go and have a look and see what other resources are out there on the map. Because eventually there's got to be something that it likes. So I'll bring you back when I've found something. Well, this is a mechanic out of never getting. I mean, I ended up going back to base to. I mean, I just rifled through the cupboards to find whatever I could that could be put into your taming slot, one of the hotkey slots there. I mean, I tried pretty much everything bar beer and honey. I even dropped an egg in front of it just on the off chance, because I know that they introduced that for the Titanoboa. But it is actually similar where it turns out you've actually got to drop things in front of it. And I've been playing around with different methods, and it's unfortunately the preferred kibble for this is the pellets from the snow owls. Sam hasn't been dropping many for some strange reason. That first one that I came across, the 168, I tamed that one. I put one pellet down once I found out. I put one pellet down in front of it and it gobbled it up straight away. Went back to Sam to get the rest, and the taming effectiveness just plummeted before I'd by the time I got back to it. There was next to nothing left. So it totally crippled that taming effectiveness on that one. And it obviously seems to be the best strategy is to have as many of these pellets as you can, especially for the higher level ones. But apart from the pellets, you can give them element, which I haven't found yet. I mean, I'm not going to start trying to convert dust into element yet. That would just take forever. You can drop metal in front of them, stone, flint, for instance. There's a few things. If you look at the wiki, there's quite a few things in order of preference that elite. I ended up having to give one of them a lot of stone because I ran out of pellets, and by the time I'd gotten back with the rest of the pellets and dropped those in front of it, the tame effectiveness was practically gone anyway. So when it started eating other things, it wasn't having that much of effect on it. I started dropping stones like one by one, but the trouble is there's a very quick timeout on things when you drop them. They don't last long once they're dropped on the floor, so that was frustrating. But what I found is that if you drop them in a stack, I'd assumed that it would, if you put like a stack of something down, it would eat the whole lot. And I thought, oh, that might have a big effect on the taming effectiveness. It's like if you were getting like 1% per item, and you put a stack of 100, you might get 100 straight away or something. But it doesn't. If you put a stack down, it'll only eat one item at a time. And the problem then is you're up against the timer of how long that's gonna that stack's actually going to last on the floor, which is a bit frustrating. But there's no point chasing them around. You just basically drop things in front of them, and they'll start consuming them. So this one here is a female. So what I'll do is, once it sits down, I'll drop some. I've got one pellet. Yeah, I've got one snowy owl pellet. See if I can get its attention on here. It's funny because that one that got trapped in the will you stay still? That one that got trapped in the trap that I'd created. That was quite amusing because it couldn't get out even when I'd taken the door frame out. It's still oh here. Let me drop that. Right, then I'll drop that. So that's gone up about 22.3, and it's consuming the metal at a rate of about quite a lot there. I'll just hurry back and get the get some more off this one. That's a drawback because I can only carry so much. So it's still eating things, but it was a bit easier when I had that one in a pen, to be honest, because it was going up. At least it was staying put. But I mean, I'm giving it metal at the moment. I mean, the taming effectiveness is still going down pretty quickly. You can see the timer; it's not going to last much longer. So this one's a female, so we'll just call you Grace. So what I found with the other one was that I was just dropping things one at a time, and they were either expiring pretty quickly, or they were I couldn't keep up with a drop because I was like just pulling them off like that, you know, and dropping them one by one and having quite a lot of them. But it is better to have just drop an entire stack. It does seem to eat quite a lot. I mean, in one go, but it doesn't eat the entire stack, which is a good thing. But they're definitely one of the most interesting dinos I've ever seen them create. It's like a walking manufacturing machine. Because it'll produce items for you. One thing I would suggest is, if you want to take it out of, I've actually found a way out of this place, but I wouldn't try to get them to follow you. They just suddenly decide to just stop and just sit down on the floor. At least that's what I found anyway. It's quite funny that you wanted to go somewhere and it'll just sit there and it's like, get moving, come on, move. And it's just like, yeah, whatever. But I've got two of them over here. I'm just going to leave that one there. I'll explain why. Because I'll just go over some of the things I've found out with this thing. I'm quite interested to find out about this one. So you can produce, you can get a saddle for them, so you can ride them. First time I tamed one, I was just like most dinosaurs. I mean, it's just like a utility dinosaur. It's not something I'm going to use in battle or anything like that. So I just started pumping health. But then if you look lower down, there's actually a crafting skill. So okay, so pump that. So what's going on there? Well, the interesting thing is they've got a production option here. Oh, now this one's black pearl. But yeah, so if you go to the production option there's all these different things that it'll produce, and you feed it. You can pick one of these, or you can just pick, say, like that one, which it'll get it to produce anything. But if you notice the ones in the wild, you see that little green glow around it. At some point, that crystal that's on a green glow is going to pop out. So you've got the ones in the wild where they're doing that, whereas with these, once you tame them, you can actually select what it is you want them to produce. So black pearl would be good. I don't know if that first one will come out, but what you've got to do is you've actually got to give it something to consume. So from what I can tell, things like metal and stone, it'll convert over into whatever it is you've been asking it to produce. So that's why I've been gathering quite a lot of metal and stone, because you can tame them up with stone. But once I found that metal is better, I started gathering the metal. Oop! Thanks a lot. Just almost sat on me there. They are herbivores as far as I can tell, so you can still give them like berries. It's like she's on about 8098. So somewhere out there she's popped a crystal. Ah, there it is over there. So that's the last one I've just picked up there, and that's from her. And there you go, see? It's produced black crystals. If you go around the ones in the wild, it's entirely seems to be quite random as to what you'll get. Sometimes what they'll do is you can actually I'll put them on. I'll just see if I put these ones on Abby. I must have put them somewhere else, but basically once you tame them, you've got that. Oh, I'll just go and get that. So where did you pop that one out to? I think for me the last. I mean, I'm on pretty much default sort of settings for most things. So for me, these things will last for about 15 minutes. So she's got about 14 black pearls there, I think. So I'm assuming at some point that's how much you get is probably based on a crafting skill. Now, for the ones in the wild, what I found was quite interesting. I actually ended up with some some structures. I actually got a set of war drums off one of them, which is totally bizarre. So they don't just produce like the raw resources, they produce, you can get structures and I'd assume some other things. I haven't really looked up that much on the wiki. My main interest was what it was basically what did I need to actually tame the thing. I mean, I tried taming it with element dust and it wasn't interested at all. That didn't do me any favours at all for the taming effectiveness. It was pretty much either the owl pellets, metal, stone and flint, and I found that's what you can feed these things in terms of production. So all I'm doing is I mean this is the, yeah, that's the one. This was a 168. It topped out at 177. It was a complete disaster for the taming effectiveness. I mean, it was really high for the first owl pellet, but by the time I'd gone back to get the rest and started dropping them, it was just an absolute disaster. And when I was dropping one item at a time, even when I had a quite large pile around them, it was very difficult to sort of like keep up with the taming, because it was, I can't remember, there's some other dinos out there where if you, normally you'll go out and you'll feed it and you've got to wait. If you don't feed it shortly after, the taming effectiveness goes down. These things, you've got to really keep up with them, so it's best to drop the stacks, otherwise the taming effectiveness comes down really, really quickly. Trouble is, things like metal, for instance, weighs quite a lot. And one thing I did find is that one, it actually woke up really, really quickly. It wasn't unconscious for that long. It couldn't get past that set of doors, or at least the door frame. I took the door frame out and I took the doors out. So you had that gap of about 2 there, in terms of the width for like the fence pillars, and it couldn't get past, and that actually made my life a lot easier. So I'd still be tempted, like, if I come back and get some more, to actually basically get them to chase me into a pen. The only trouble is they do trash the walls quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much trashing those walls quite a bit. But yeah, so I mean, if you want them to produce things, I mean, it seems to vary. So like that one back there, for instance, was giving you the option of things like black pearls. Now if you look around this one here, he doesn't have that option at all. So what I've got him doing is, that's quite useful oil. I've got this one, I've called him Gavin. He's going to give me oil. This one, there's a pretty low level. I thought I'd try a low level one after that. So I've got a male and a female, so they're mate boosted. I don't know what effect that has, but she'll produce. I've got her. I think I had her producing sulfur. Yeah, sulfur. So it varies. Each one produces different. Can produce different resources. Now I'll just go and get. I'll just get this saddle off Gavin here. I actually ended up getting taming this parasol here, because as far as I can tell, they are eating vegetables. I've dumped various things in to just try and see what it's like, but pretty much if you give them the metals, you know, stone metals, they'll convert that. But as far as I can tell, they do eat berries. So I just ended up going out, get myself a parasol, and that way I've got a lot of berries in here for them to keep them fed. But I'm going to go back over to that one over there. Nope, you haven't produced anything. Right, okay, come on. So I'll go over to this one here. Now I've kept her, she's on her own, she's, I'll just boost her crafting skill, then I'll give her a saddle. She's actually within range of the trough, because these S+ troughs go for quite a while. A left click will do quite a bit of damage. Right click seems to be a swipe down, left click a swipe across. I don't know what they're like in terms of attacking things, because it's not something I'd probably use, but One thing I found was that in the... where's it in the behaviour? Oh, there. Harvest. Yeah. If you go to the option for harvest settings, then enable resource harvesting. So by default, it clearly doesn't harvest anything. Now if you do like a left click, left swipe on there, gathers quite a lot of fibre. I mean, that is a lot of fibre. I mean, it took a massive area out. Right click, pretty much there. Left click. So the left click's better for gathering the fibre, but it also does stone as well. So it's gathered flint and stone. Yeah, so you can, it'll gather, so off the off all the plants around there, it'll gather the it'll gather fibre. Whereas if you go off the stone, we're getting flint and stone for it. And it'll convert these, as far as I can tell, it doesn't touch the fibre, but it will touch metal, stone, flint, and convert them over into whatever you've asked it to. So it's definitely, I mean, it's a bizarre creature, I must admit. Now the weird thing is, I want to put this to a test, because if you look at her face, she's looking quite happy now. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but this is based on what I've been reading in the wiki. So I want to put this to the test, because I've got two of them over there, and they're maid boosted. Because according to the wiki, so now, see, he's just chucked out. So here, that'll be what's that one? So yes, you're producing oil for me, so that's good. I can't tell. According to the wiki, two of these together, you can only keep them together in pairs. So you can have two of them maid boosted. So I don't seem to be having a problem, because according to the wiki, if you have more than two of them, they actually get sad and they stop producing resources. I mean, I'm not noticing that, I must admit. So I've got two females here and a male. They don't seem particularly bothered, but that, according to the wiki, that's what's supposed to happen. If they're within 12 foundations, they'll actually get sad. And they'll stop producing resources. So, I don't know. I don't know if I've got the feature turned off or something. See, like, I mean, at the moment you can see Abby here is looking at me. Now, according to the wiki, they're supposed to do that as well. But if there's more than, if you got more than one pair, they don't do that. So I'm just out of curiosity, I'm gonna take I'll take out. Actually, I don't want to take her over there because there's a Therizino over there. But in terms of resource gathering, I mean, they're extremely good. So you can take it out to like a stone area. Use one of those leashes. They've created a, there's a Dino leash you can get. Yeah, this Dino leash. And the thing with those is that you can keep a dinosaur. Oh, there you go. Just stand. Ah, right, that's interesting. She's just standing near the stone and she's harvesting it. So it's a bit like the Deodon. Not the Deodon, the Deodigerus. So I'm puzzled because she's not looking at me at all. And yet she's got to be a good distance away from those two. I mean, she's not showing herself as maid boosted, but she's not She's not interested. Whereas if you look at Sam, Sam on the other hand, she's looking at me. And according to the wiki, these things should look at you unless they're within like 12 foundations of each other. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. But she's feeding off the trough. And what she should do is she should convert things like metal and stone and flint across to whatever it is I've asked her to produce. So in my case, I mean, I definitely want to keep a hold of this one because she does black pearls. So it seems to vary it as to each one. I mean, I don't know if I particularly want to gather like tons of them, especially if you've got that feature. Maybe it's just it's meant to be, you know, deliberate intent to stop you having so many of them, because you could pretty much just leave these and create all the resources you need without bothering like utility dinosaurs to get your stone or your flint. I mean, it's just absolutely brilliant little dinosaur. Well, I say little, it's a big dinosaur actually, but they're a brilliant dinosaur from what I can tell. I mean, I wonder if they'll do wood. I know they do. They'll definitely convert stone and flint and metal. But I went through tons and tons of different like resources to see if I could get them to just to tame up, you know, just passively feeding it. But that's something I actually got. One of the first ones I picked up, I got a set of war drums, which is a bit bizarre. Just see what have you got on you? Ah, there. So I picked these two up. I haven't looked at these. Most of the time, when these spit out a crystal, you tend to get ones like this. You get what normal ones, but there's a couple ones I found out in the wild. As I've been going out and about, I'm picking up ones from the wild ones. And there's those two ramshackle ones I found. I'll just go back up here because there was a few of them up here at one point. Yeah, I think they all moved down the side, but just out of curiosity, let's see what these ramshackle ones have. Yes, that's given me a torch. Journeyman riot boots. So every now and then, obviously these wild ones are dropping. They'll drop normal ones, and then every so often they'll drop higher level ones. It seems. So there's quite an incentive to pick up those ones, and you can tell that they do stand out because there's like a little glow that suddenly you see. Like these ones over here. These are just the normal ones, for instance. They just tend to be the normal resources, but I think obviously if you see these ones with a bit of a glow around them, they'll either be structures by the looks of it, or tools, armor maybe. So it's probably worth. But I don't know if the tamed ones will give you them. Because I've got those ones set to produce specific resources. Maybe these wild ones are just set to random ones. I'm not sure whether I want to tame up like lots and lots of them, because if the wiki says that if you have more than 2 and it's right, it kind of implies that it's not in your interest to have more than 2, because if they stop producing the resources, then it's kind of pointless. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anything when I've got 3 of them together. I'll just go back and I mean, you can obviously breed them. I'm getting too used to flying sand. I'm trying to like dive bomb there and it's not working. I'm wondering why. Right, I'll go back and get that other one. Because she's dropped 2 already. And I would have thought that taming effectiveness must have some effect on, maybe it's either the amount of resources that are in each crystal, or maybe it has an effect on the quality. Ah, that's not one. Let's see where she's up to now. So she's on... Yeah, she's still got a bit of stone and metal left. So yeah, so she's just spitting out black pearls for me. So that's very useful, really, as I say, because it saves you like going out and about. If you know, to look for certain things, because you can just leave them. I mean that in itself is brilliant, because that's exactly what you want. Is like the Deodiggerus, you want something that'll, you know, harvest the stone, and in this case it goes one step further. She'll harvest the stone, the flint, and then she'll start to turn it into whatever it is you've asked it to produce, which is that's brilliant, because that's been one of the problems I've had, is trying to find things like black pearls. So there's obviously different types of resources that you can get these things to produce. It'll be a case of, I think, of going around and taming like lots of them. So I think what I'll do is I'll drag those. I want to drag those two down there. Just dump them over there. So come on. Let's see if I can be bothered. Yeah, because I've sometimes like taken... I'm sometimes getting them to follow me, and then it's just like, eh, whatever, I can't be bothered. Get that one there. Come here. So they're all obviously close enough. They are all close enough to one another. Now I know she's on auto. I mean, I said all of them to auto harvest. Oh, so she is still like at least harvesting things. But that feature about them getting sad and not wanting to produce anything, I'm not sure if that I'm not sure if that holds true. Whether it's like that was the intention, but it's not. You know, it's not actually working as intended or something. Let's get a bit more stone for this one. Get it off the Argentavis. Because he should start converting the stone across to what I've got him set up to. I think I've got him set up to produce oil for me. I'll get her some stone as well. She must have eaten her. I'm sure she had fibre on her. Oh yeah, so she's eating the fibre. I thought it was just when I first saw it, because I saw like quite a lot of fibre still left on them. I thought, oh, maybe they're just not eating it. But they seem to be eating pretty much anything. I mean, maybe what you feed them has an impact on the quality of the crystals. Because I've got quite a lot of fibre on this one. I just haven't particularly noticed. I'd have to pay more attention to exactly what the inventory holds to work that out, to be honest. But yeah, they're definitely an interesting dino. So at least they'll auto harvest, but you've got to enable that, because by default they won't do it. I think they're good. I must admit, I really like them. Because having the Deodiggerus is a good addition. In the way you could just leave it to harvest stone around it, that would respawn and then it would just harvest it again. Whereas these things, they'll harvest the stone, convert the stone, and just keep going through that. So it's, I think you'd have to go out and get quite a few of them by the looks of it. I'll have to do a bit more experimenting to find out just what that, what's in that wiki and what's actually correct. But definitely useful. It's got to be about probably the most useful dino around that they've introduced. I mean, they've all got their uses, but this one I think is brilliant. It's just it's your own, it's a manufacturing machine. So you can just keep feeding it, and it'll produce all those, all these resources that you need. Absolutely great. Well, I think that's it for this video. So I do hope you've liked it. If so, then I'd appreciate it if you could leave a like. It really helps me out a lot. Certainly learned quite a lot about these. I would have never figured out how to get that taming mechanism working. But it's definitely interesting. Definitely an interesting addition. So yeah, so anyway, if you're new to the channel, then do please subscribe. Remember to click the little bell icon as well, because that'll get you daily reminders of when new content comes out. And if you've got any comments or suggestions, yeah, do please leave them. I'll greatly appreciate those. So thanks very much for your time, and until the next video, bye.